Peace, power, and prosperity to the family. Minister Corbin reporting live. I always want to thank y'all for rocking. Welcome to the Darius Corbin Mystery School, the home of the esoteric and metaphysical knowledge. I want to thank y'all once again. I'm trying out new different LL Cool shades. I'm going to try these. Now, family, this is going to be a very different presentation. Obviously, you can see the name of the title, so I can only imagine where you guys are wondering where I'm going to take this at. But this is going to be, there we go. This is going to be a different type of presentation. The reason being is, with this presentation, Hitler, the Christ, with a question mark. Hitler, the Christ, with a question mark. Because with this presentation, the presentation is the homework. I have told y'all in so many videos, when you watch my video, have a pen and pad ready, because you never know what type of subject or subjects I'm going to be taking you to. For example, this evening, welcome to the Darius Corbin Mystery School, the home of the esoteric and metaphysical knowledge. I am an ordained metaphysical minister. It is an honor every time y'all click on the videos. Family, please be ready for this video, because this is my first ever video where the presentation is the homework. This presentation is bigger than just one person. This presentation must have every race, which with no judgment. Let me say this again, because at this very moment, you don't know how real this presentation is, but you're going to find out in a few minutes. So I'm going to drink. Conspiracy theorists, spiritualists, religious folks, I need everybody to watch this video, this homework that I'm about to give you guys. It's so big that I want to see comment after comment after comment after comment. And this is not about hate. Let's get this addressed right now. This is not about hate. I said in a couple videos before that if all of us are going to advance into this quantum world where we are approaching, certain things in the past must be dealt with. If we don't deal with these things, then the future is just going to repeat the past. So thank you once again. My title is called Hitler, the Christ. But the book, and this is why this is homework, you're going to be PDFing a book tonight. If you got a laptop, awesome. If you got a phone, awesome. If you got a phone or a laptop where you're not worried about viruses, because I didn't get no virus with this PDF. Not all viruses, all PDFs you can get a virus. There are some. But to follow through with this presentation, you're going to have to download the PDF. And I'm going to flip the phone around so you can see it. The presentation is the homework. I want to get started, because soon as I go in, there's going to be no stopping from there. So I'm handing this presentation off to you guys. I'm going to be doing a summary as we go. If it's a 40-minute, 50-minute, an hour. All I am saying before I go in, I need every race with no judgment, no bias, no hate, especially not for the messenger, but to listen closely. But the reason why I want you to download this PDF, because you can't go off of my words alone. You must go off the author and your experience with what you think is history in your own life. Okay, are you ready? The book is by, let's go, let me scroll up in here right quick. I'm going to be grabbing the phone a little bit, so bear with me, family. Is by Miguel Sereno. Can you see that, guys? Let me bring it down. Can you see the name? Okay, I think I got it right there. Now I'm going to scroll down. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. I might have to take my LL Cool shades off, but get ready for it. I'm about to scroll down, family. You see the name of the author. So remember, I'm the messenger. That's the author. Adolf Hitler. El Ultimo Avatara. El Ultimo Avatara. And I'm probably saying that wrong. So let's see the right way to say Ultimo. How you say it? Come on, Google.
Último.
Ultimo. You guys got that? Shout out to my beautiful Spanish family.
Último.
Ultimo. That means last. One more time before we go in.
Último.
Ultimo. Y'all keep that in mind so I'm not messing the word up. One more time, and I'm done.
Último.
Ultimo. I gotta pull up. Let's go in. Okay. Let's go back. Adolf Hitler. El Ultimo Avatar. Avatara. Y'all see that? Or y'all, let me scroll down, family. Which translate into English, Adolf Hitler. Can y'all see this? Am I getting it right? Y'all seeing that? There we go. I see it, family. Adolf Hitler, the last avatar. This is going to be the book you're going to download. And if I got to get up, I don't mind. Like I said, this needs to be seen. Adolf Hitler, El Ultimo Avatare. It's pretty much saying, family, Adolf Hitler, the last avatar. So your homework tonight, and the only way you're going to understand this summary that I'm going to be breaking down, is to download this book. Because you're not going to put this all on one person. This is a messenger giving you the work to tell you this is what a lot of the world knows, and this is what has been hidden from us. So in order for us to get our power back, stepping into the quantum world, we must know what has been done, what is going on. This author is claiming that Hitler was the last avatar. And you guys know what avatar means. You should know what avatar means. Do you know what avatar means? Some of you? Some of you probably saying no? Well, listen, that's what I'm here for. Let's go with Avatar. Where we at? Avatar. Avatar, a manifestation of a deity or released soul in bodily form on earth, an incarnate divine teacher. They are saying that Hitler was the last avatar. Let's go back. Okay, because we're not done. I want to read some of the chapters from the table of context to show you how wild this book, and this book was published, I believe, in 1984, the same year I was born, ironically. So it shows some pictures. This is Ancient Symbols. I hope y'all seen this. I'm just going to scroll down. Ancient Symbols. A lot of people did not know, I don't know if you guys knew, that the swastika that Hitler was Hitler's symbol wasn't a symbol of hate, wasn't a symbol of destruction. It was an ancient symbol that the folks in the Eastern civilization knew. It was a certain knowledge and power esoterically. What we're going to learn about Hitler is going to be so different and so wild that you're going to see why I'm giving this presentation to you as homework. Because one person just discussing this is not going to be enough. After you are done watching this, I want you to do your own homework, because I have a feeling once you read this book for yourself, family, this book, for you guys who are looking to become podcasters or content creators, I think that's what they call it, right? Content creators. This book is going to give you enough content to be creating for years to come. A lot of all this is, I'm going to say, factual, because off of my teachings as a metaphysician and also just knowing the esoteric knowledge throughout my years, I have known some of this stuff to be true. It's just that it's given me more layers on what I already knew. You understand? So I want to go over the table of context of this book. So by now, if you are reading this video, you probably paused it and stopped and download Miguel. Can you see that, guys? Miguel Sereno, Adolf Hitler, El Ultimo Avatara, which means the last avatar. I'm going to read this right quick, family. And remember, how many? We on 9 minutes. We're at an age right now that we should be knowing that we are all one. But to understand that and go to dimensions and worlds where our ancestors are at right now, and where some people to this day are, we're going to go to higher vibrations. And some of the stuff you guys are going to hear is going to be uncomfortable. That's why I'm giving you this as homework, so you can digest it for yourself, pretty much. So let me see if I can scroll down like this. Perfect. Are you ready? Get ready. The author says, Miguel says, this is not a book. It is a musical mystery, a mysticism, darkness and light, esoteric symbolism. And what is this channel? The home of the what? Esoteric and metaphysical. So we right on board. We right home with this information. Let's read that again. This is not a book. It is a musical mystery. And mysticism, darkness and light, esoteric symbolism, astral travel, master and pupil, and so much more. A book describing the ongoing titanic and eternal battle between gods and devils, between a dark force, a satanic spirit, and a coming or returning Hyperborean Aryan age. Hyperborean, which I'm going to give you that to spell, Aryan age. Now, at what time we're at here? At 11-year-old. I said, what the hell am I talking about? At 11 minutes. Oh, the hell, 11-year-old. I have 11-year-old though. At 11 minutes, we have starting to hit a couple nerves with some people already. This is why I'm saying I'm giving you this PDF as homework, but I'm going to do a summary of what it's saying so we can together break this down. And if you guys want me to do a video further on this, a whole presentation, just hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Remember, we're not doing this on hate. Hate's not going to win nothing. Love always wins. But we need to really go into the meat of this. People talk about Antarctica and what's in Antarctica. This book breaks it down. What's in Antarctica and who's in Antarctica. The Hollow Earth talk. So if you are ready for this talk and you are grown enough to have this talk, then as a race, as one people together, let's be adults about this and figure what's going on. This is not a book. It is a musical mystery, a mysticism, darkness and light, the author says, esoteric symbolism, astral travel, master and pupil, and so much more. A book describing the ongoing titanic and eternal battle between gods and devils, between a dark force, a satanic spirit, and a coming or returning Hyperborean Aryan age. Hyperborean is spelled Hyperborean. Once again, Hyperborean is spelled Hyperborean. For those who have heard about the 7 root races, then you know about the Hyperboreans. If you don't know about the 7 root races, R-O-O-T races, 7 root races, I encourage you on your own time or pause this video and Google extensively the 7 root races. Let's continue going on. Before I do, Aryan. You may have heard the word before. There is from either white naturalists, Nazis, but Aryan is the pure white race. Once again, the Aryan are the pure white race. Family, before I go in on this presentation, and we haven't even hit close to a nerve, the Aryan race has always been known to a certain degree, because it's a Asiatic chapter 2 Aryan, Eastern civilization part to the Aryan, but for the most part, the Aryans are this pure white race. Keep that in mind on this summary this evening. The Aryan pure white race has many ops. Of course, ops is short for opposition, adversaries. But they have one big op that has been the op for them for quite some time. And the Aryan race, even with races with my color hue and the yellow race and the brown race, that's, whatever. The colored people, pretty much, even though they may consider them as op to a certain degree, there is one race in this world that the Aryan race, when Hitler was alive, he was trying to completely destroy that one op. There is one race that runs entertainment, music, pretty much the whole world. I don't have to tell you the name of that race. You will be hearing the name of that race. We are not discriminating that name of that race. We are now giving historical facts on what has been going on and why, and maybe some answers to why this race has been seemingly more powerful or dominant and have more power than the other races. I think we're going to get the answer to that in this presentation. But the Aryan race, once again, had one op. And as Hitler claiming to be an Aryan himself, his mission was to destroy that op. The question that you are going to run across throughout this presentation, and when you discover this for yourself and read it for yourself, based off what we was shown in school, at least based off I was shown in school, they didn't teach us too much about Hitler. To be honest, with all respect to Germans and everybody, when they turned on that TV and showed us about Hitler, it was this. All I knew was this. And the hand symbols, that's all. And they gave us this reaction, or they gave us this outlook like, man, this guy is not to be messed with. This guy is evil. This guy is wicked. This guy is the devil himself. But my question is, have you guys, yes or no, ever heard a Hitler speech in English? With AI technology, you can go on YouTube and you can hear Hitler speaking in English. And I promise you, once you hear it, I actually, after reading this, I looked it up and heard some of his speeches in English. His speeches are no different than any dictator that you have heard of before. His speeches are no different as far as the message, what he was saying, that we have heard. It's the power and the influence that he had with his voice. I once heard somebody on YouTube said that when Hitler spoke, it was like a drum, a rhythm beat. Doo-doo, doo-doo. And as his voice carried on, as he was trying to get his message even more, his voice was raised and the rhythm would do-do-do-do. So he rhythmically know how to move the people. But my question to you guys, and this is everybody, we're not discriminating against nobody, let me make this clear. Once you understand and listen to what he says, I encourage you to listen to what Hitler says in English. And you see why certain people, when they go against that one race, why they are shut down quickly. Are you ready to go back in? To understand this obscure tome, that's T-O-M-E, this esoteric masterpiece, the author says, one needs to have read, it says, Savitri Divi. It's S-A-V-I-T-R-I. And she's another author. She's an author who wrote this book that I do have. I got it downloaded somewhere. Let me see here. So, I mean, that one's a good PDF, but yeah, it's called The Lightning and the Sun by Savitri Divi, and that's S-A-V-I-T-R-I D-E-V-I. So he says, yo, check out, to understand what I'm talking about, you need to check this out, The Lightning and the Sun. I'll show y'all right quick before I go back in. The Lightning and the Sun. Can y'all see that? The Lightning and the Sun. That's a PDF too. Like I said, my angle game ain't it is what it is right now, but yeah, but that's her name. If you can see her name, they good people. They on the same philosophy when it comes to this Hitler being the avatar. Like I said, I'm gonna try to angle it again so y'all can kind of get a view. If not, we'll get there soon. But let's go back to the presentation. That's what he says. He says, so before you really want to check out my work, go check out her work. I checked out her work, but his work is he goes right straight to the point. So he said, the author and this lady were friends. They met both in India and Germany. Both regarded Jews as the physical incarnation of the dark force of the demiurge. I'm going to read that again. Once again, the author says, before you check out my book, check out her book, which I showed you. Her name is Savriti. That's Savitri, Devi. Her book is called The Lightning in the Sun. You can PDF that on your own leisure. They were good friends, them two, Miguel and her. And they both regarded Jews as the physical incarnation of the dark force of the demiurge. Now, to understand what the demiurge is, you have to be a Gnostic, study Gnostic, esoterically know what you're talking about. Because for me to break down this to you and you don't know what a demiurge is, it would kind of make you feel some type of way. For example, the Gnostic, who were the early Christians, knew that the same God that most Christians go in church and say God, Jehovah, they knew that he was a demiurge, which means that he was a lower level deity, parading as the real thing. So a lot of people may know that there were lost gospels in the Bible. These are the Nag Hammadi scriptures. Once you read the Nag Hammadi scriptures, which are the non-canonical gospels, in church you have the canonical gospels, which are Matthew, Luke, John, Mark. You have the non-canonical gospels, which were not allowed and approved in the churches back in the day. If you would read, and you can PDF that too, it's called the Nag, N-A-G Hammadi, which is like Hammdi, but Google's your best friend. These are the lost gospels that your church folks used to always talk about. Now you'll understand, a lot of the lost years about Christ and the years when he was 5 years old and Christ was dropping bodies down. And his pop's like, yo, you got to chill, man. And he had to learn his power. This is all true stuff. But anyway, the God that people go to church and praise is a demiurge. That means that you actually, because of the Divine Mother, Sophia the Wisdom, and Gnostics, have more power than the God that you go to church and praise. You can feel however you want to feel about that. I'm not here to care about your feelings on that note, but you can research it. Like I tell you, like my teacher, Dr. David Blair, said, there is no truth until you decide what your truth is. But the early Christians, not the ones that parade around as Christians, not the priest and the Vatican folks, they're the ones that killed our ancestors and are parading around as them now. Oh no. The Gnostics, the Essenes, the Cathars, they all knew that this world was an illusionary world, the Maya. They knew that the ruler of that world was a demiurge, a deity who said that there is no other God except him, but he was a blind God who they call Samuel. I got a whole video about this. You can look it up. But anyway, I want to keep going on that. But they both claimed and both said, remember, we're not going against nobody. We're just trying to figure this out all together. They both regarded Jews as the physical incarnation of the dark force of the demiurge. So this is really saying at the end of the day, in the beginning of the Bible, that the demiurge, out of all the races in the world, the demiurge made the Jews his power force, his gunners, his hitters. The deity, the demiurge that runs this world, his hitters, his gunners, his power force, they believe are the Jews. Like Sereno Sativa, or why did I say Sativa? You can tell what time I'm on. Savitri, and that's S-A-V. I'm going to call her Sav, S-A-V. Sav, if you're still alive, no disrespect to your name. But Sav, like Sereno, I'm screwing all. S-E-R-R-A-N-O. Let's get it right. Like Sereno, Sav, the high priest of Hitlerism, there's a thing called Hitlerism, by the way, was convinced Hitler was an avatar. And it says the pendulament. And let's get some respect and put the glasses on. I'm just going to put the... There we go. The pendulament. I want to Google that word. And that's Penultimat. She was convinced that Hitler was an avatar. We've seen the Avatar movie. We know what an avatar is. You read Google the word avatar. She believed that he was an avatar, and she wasn't by herself, obviously. She was convinced Hitler was an avatar, the penultimate. And that's one word that I'm breaking down to make it sound like it's two words. But let's Google that word and see what that means. The penultimate. I'm probably... There we go. Last, but one in a series of things, second last. So she believed that Hitler was one of the last avatars. Not the last, but one of the series of things, the second last. Let's go back. She quotes Hans Grimm, Hansgrimm, who recalled his meeting of an hour with Adolf Hitler in 1928, in which they later admitted that he was not the one, quote, end quote, he was preparing the way for the one. The bare essential work of preparation, Devi believed that the one Kalki, Kalki, would have Hitler's spirit, but be less sun and more merciless. Let's scroll down and see if we can get some more. Here we go. And thank y'all for bearing with me. Like I said, your job now is to PDF this book, The Last Avatar, and look for yourself, because I haven't even hit the surface. I don't think I even gave you guys the table of context yet. For Sereno, Hitler has to be described in Hermetic language. How many of y'all, by raise of hands, don't worry, I can see you, have heard about Hermetic? The universal laws, the laws of Hermetic. Hermes, Thoth, Tahuti. This is all Hermetic. For Sereno, Hitler has to be described in Hermetic language to be understood. He has a mysterious power that calls terror and says Goebbels, Goebbels. At times, I think the Führer, and that's what they call Hitler, Fuhrer. This name they say throughout the PDF or throughout the book, and I want to see if there's a definition for that word. Fuhrer. A ruthless, tyrannical leader, and that's what they definitely depict him as. The Führer. F-U-H. How you say it?
Führer.
Okay, one more time.
Führer.
There it is. There it was. Boom. The Führer. It says, at times I think the Führer, talking about Adolf Hitler, is not human. Since birth, Hitler was predestined, committed to his mission. He submitted his sexual drive into a love for Germany. He was the Hyperborean archetype chosen to reinforce the memory of the blood, the eternal return of the archetype. And ancient wisdom tell us that the great man chooses his birthplace, his destiny. They're talking about men and women in general here. Listen up, because this is your calling too as far as your destiny. And ancient wisdom tells us that the great man or woman chooses his birthplace, his destiny. He incarnates the collective self or superior mankind. He stands heroically alone and prepares the dawn of the next time cycle. And even if he fails, other great men, not born out of circumstances, but predestined, chosen men above time, and that's going to be a name, above time, in time. These are going to be titles that we're going to learn about soon, who see the struggle in a cosmic sense, will continue the fight for eternal things, originate in darkness and silence, and they will endure. Last part says, for eternal things originate in darkness and silence. Bringing it back to esoteric Christianity, Christ always told us to go within. The kingdom of heaven is within. This book just said, for internal things originate in darkness and silence, and they will adore. That means they will continue. Sereno believes that Hitler will reincarnate into Kalikai, and in the extreme moment, he will awaken the dream, infuse heroism in those that remain loyal, and he will save the race. For as he said, this is what Hitler said. Hitler said this, and I quote, "If I win the war, I will have given a mortal blow to the Jew. If I lose the war, their triumph will only be for a brief time. Hitler lost a battle, not a war." If I have some time, I may play, especially if you guys are tuned in. Like I said, hit the like button, subscribe, please leave a comment. If you're sitting here and if you're thinking this is what I'm saying and what I'm delivering is anything hate, then that shows you where your ego is. You need to check your ego at the door, respectfully. This is me showing you this book, letting you download this book, The Last Avatar, Adolf Hitler, The Last Avatar, and you learning some esoteric stuff that you probably won't hear on the Discovery Channel or on Ancient Aliens. They're going to give you baby spoons. Sometimes that's all they can give you. But I'm giving you this book so you can research it. And for those who have just kind of want to become content creators, study this, research this, and you can start your own content. Because I haven't even hit you with the table of contents yet. I haven't hit you with a table of contents yet. So let's see if we can keep on going. And I'll read that once again. Sereno, Serrano, Miguel Sereno, believes that Hitler will reincarnate into Kalikai, and that's Kalki. At the extreme moment, he will awaken a dream, infuse heroism in those that remain loyal, and he will save the race. For as he said, if I win the war, this is Hitler, if I win the war, I will have given a mortal blow to the Jew. This is what Hitler said. If I lose the war, their triumph will only be for a brief time. Hitler lost a battle, it says, not the war. And then we go into master and pupil. And I'm just going to scroll down because right now, like I said, I just want to scroll down some things that may catch your eyes. And once again, if I can, I know my picture game ain't on point, but this is some pictures of Don Miguel Sereno, the author of this, and some of his friends. This is a whole set of people. Look at this. Christos, which is an ancient name for Christ. You guys can see that? I'm going to scroll down. Christos Lucifer Walton. You guys need to scroll. Man, look. Can you see that, guys? I don't know how far I scroll, but it says Christos Lucifer Walton. Here we go. Like I said, if y'all watching this and you like it, hit the like button. If it interests you, hit the like button. Let's continue going on. Here's my translation from the Spanish of Miguel Sereno's immortal masterpiece, Adolf Hitler, the Ultimate Avatar. Below, the first section consists of the descriptive paragraphs of the back cover of the book. Even though the book is somewhat slow to begin, it offers Europeans and a comparable overview of our Aryan history and mythos. Probably none of us will agree with everything Sereno has to say and might wish he had phrased some passages differently, and I know that's right. It's going to be some things that he says in here that's going to make people feel some type of way. But listen what this person says. Probably none of us will agree with everything Sereno has to say in this book and might wish he had phrased some passages differently. That does not affect the truth, though, family, that are listening right now to my words. That does not affect the truth that every word in the Holy Scripture of the Western Aryan is exactly as it should be for the specific purpose for which Sereno wrote them. It speaks to the ages with an incomparable message no one but Miguel Sereno could ever have sung. Miguel also used to hang around with Carl Jung. Carl Jung is a respected psychoanalyst. I'm sure you heard of Jung's work, Jung. Let's keep going down. The title of this book has its origins in the Hindu conception of a god or a deity, especially Vishnu, the preserver in the trilogy of Hinduism, Brahma being the creator and Shiva the destroyer. Vishnu is an ancient Vedic god, Aryan, white and blonde, who residence is in the North Pole. We are now learning some things that we probably didn't even know. See, this is why you have that white and like Asian connection as well. The pure white race has a very rooted connection with the Asiatic race. Through my studies, whether it's Miguel Sereno, Rudolf Steiner, or Gerald Massey, one theme is when you're reading something like this and it's powerful, you have to look at what race the author is. Because 9 out of 10, he's going to be catering to his race. There's going to be truth in what he's saying, but he's going to be catering to his race. It is what it is. Charles Darwin did a lot of that. I repeat myself, Charles Darwin did a lot of that. So let's read that one more time. The title of this book has its origins in the Hindu conception of a god or deity, especially Vishnu, the preserver in the trilogy of Hinduism. Brahma, Brahma, being the creator, and Shiva the destroyer. Vishnu is an ancient Vedic Vedic god, Aryan, white and blonde, who resides in the North Pole. Avatar is a Sanskrit word, Sanskrit word. So far, there has been 9 incarnations with the 3 great divisions of time made by Hinduism. The last 3 known incarnations are heroic religious corresponding to Rama, Krishna, and Buddha. The 10th, that of Kalaki, riding a white horse, will close the Kali Yuga, the Iron Age of the Greeks, the darkest age, which is to say the present time. He will appear within the vortex of the final catastrophe and will come to judge. The author of this book argues this incarnation of the divinity Vishnu Wotan, and that's Wotan, is announced by Adolf Hitler, the man to come, who has already made his glowing appearance and must return with his ultimate battalion, the Wild Hers, Heer, Furious Order of Wotan Odin, Odin. And for those who know the Norse mythology, you're very well in tune to Odin, Odin, on the edge of catastrophe to save his folk and judge their enemies. All right, now have I even reached... Here we go. I think we're about to reach the table of context now, I believe. Let me scroll. Yes, we are. Family. I'm going to give you as much as I can. Maybe an hour. We'll see. It's really, at this time, it's about your comfort level and how you're feeling about this presentation. I'm going to give you the table of context. I'm going to flip it around. And once you PDF it, you'll have it obviously anyway. Let me see if I can zoom in. PDF. I'm going to start naming some of these. I don't know if you can see them as I scroll down. Can y'all see them pretty good? Yeah? Good? Here are some of the titles of the table of context. Get ready for it. Glories of the night, the hero, the leader, the great war, the lord of darkness, the maestro, other Hyperborean archetypes, the mountain, the Valkyrie, wheel of life, and Mandela. You guys seeing that? If not, then we'll hear me out. Ultimate dialogue with the maestro, part 2, beyond the archetype. The falsification of the demiurge. We might have to go to that one next. That is 183. Y'all keep that in mind. Art of refuge, the gods, the heroes, reincarnation, eternal return, resurrection, Hyperborea, Pardacia, Worry, Wotan and ruins, Runes, lands of castles. I know some of you Viking inspiring people out there are really loving this. Castle, polar psychology or physiology, the 3 Norns, the 3 Rex, Ragnarok, another round, earthly Hyperborea, fire, Jehovah and the White Traders. Jehovah and the White Traders? What? That is 277. Jehovah and the White Traders. And 180, what was that one that we said? What was that? 183? The falsification of demiurge. We'll go back to to Jehovah and the White Traders. Jehovah? Not, whoa. Which one y'all want to read first? Y'all want me to go to Jehovah and the White Traders? Or y'all want me to go to the falsification of the demiurge? And this is obviously not recorded live, but I'm just going to go off what I think you guys might want to see. You guys want to see the falsification of the demiurge or Jehovah and the white traders? Yep. That's what we're doing? You sure? Are you sure, family? All right. Well, it sounds like you guys want to hear Jehovah and the white traders. Let's go on 277. Thank you for your time and patience. And we're almost there. Are we here now? Jehovah, can you guys see that? Jehovah and the white traders. And once you get this PDF, you'll be able to have that too. The arrival of the warriors of Wotan, that's Wotan. And once you get this PDF, Wotan is definitely something you might want to look up, and it's something that is very powerful energy. Very powerful. The arrival of the warriors of Wotan on Earth causes an essential mutation. Like I told you guys in my previous videos, when I started this over 10 years ago, me being a melanated person on this planet, my biggest question was, how much does racism play a role, not just in my life, you know, what I experience in my life, but in general, and how far does it go back into history? And family, I have found that racism goes back pretty damn far. Racism goes back even before we were in this flesh. The arrival of the warriors of Wotan on Earth causes an essential mutation, momentarily detention in the involutive process, and the recurrence of the degraded archetype. They will use the man run, R-U-N-E, to take their image and reclothe E-R, fire of the black sun, with the form of a man. Man. But he will be the image of a perfect body, golden, luminous, who will live only at intervals and who will not have absolute materiality, descending and ascending from the surface of the earth towards the first Asgard through the gate of Venus. They will instruct the earth dwellers, helping the semi-animals and people of color, the Negroes, yellow and red races. The Hyperborean warriors were white, almost blue bloods, their golden hair floating in the wind of that golden age. But catastrophe came when the divine took hold of the daughters of men, who they were themselves helping to perfect. They mixed with them and sired sons of flesh and death. They have involted into mortals like a dark river descending from the Y-R-R-U-N. The Norn Skuld, S-K-U-L-D, over the divine warriors. The hour of destiny, karma, and fatality was fulfilled. They were left imprisoned on earth in flesh in mortal earthly form, and nostalgia for the lost world accompanied each one of their actions. They are the semi-divine heroes of legendary ages. Let's stop there. Now, whether you heard the story of the Numa Elish, Enki and Enlil, the Anunnaki, whatever you have heard, this story parallels with all that when they talk about the fall of certain gods when they fell in love and mated with mortal women. Here, we are hearing something of a racial issue, that some gods came down and, sorry to say it, they got jungle fever. They got jungle fever. She got jungle fever. They're in love. I had to. So, this race thing goes way back. And as you, I'll stop at an hour. And if you guys want me to do a part 2, let's say it. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Leave comments. Let me know what you think of this presentation seriously. Because I haven't even touched the surface. It talks about Atlantis. It talks about Lemuria. It talks about a white queen in Atlantis. It talks about slaves in Atlantis. So at some time between Lemuria, which, if you do the history, Lemuria was where all the black are black Afro-Atlanteans. You know, when you start dealing with chaos magic, you'll hear about the Afro-Atlanteans. Afro-Atlanteans. There was some time where the Lemurians must have failed, whether it was in sleep, vibration. This race of white gods either came out of nowhere or were already there. They ended up slaving some of these Afro-Atlanteans, and there was a white queen involved. This thing goes real heavy. So that's why I want you guys, and this is truth that some of you do not want to accept as truth, but once you research this and go further than I'm taking you right now, your mind is going to be boggled. Your sleep will be altered because now you are reaching your subconscious and you can relate to this. Some things you read, your subconscious connects because it already knows. I'm going to read that again. Thank you. If you like it, hit the like button. Leave comments. We are brothers and sisters. This is not going against one race at all, but this is letting you know what history knows. I do want to play a Hitler video in English so you can hear what this man was talking about. He did call the Jews an alien race. This goes very deep. There are Jews all over the world, as you know. Not talking about the black Jews. We're not talking about the black Jews. You got Hebrews and say we're the first. We're the original Jews. That's not even the question in this one. You know exactly what Jews we're talking about. And if any of those respectful Jews are listening now, Jewish family, you guys are my family. We're all family. Hitler probably didn't think so. It is what it is. What I'm saying is we are all in this playing together. Some of you know this. So this is not no hate speech at all. And don't look at it as that. And if you do, once again, that's your ego. You deal with it. These are things like Hitler losing the battle, but winning the war and going into a hollow earth, going to Antarctica. You got Sci-Fi Channel giving you baby spoons of what's in Antarctica. There are aliens in Antarctica, spaceships. Hitler was working with the spaceships. Aliens, Hitler had advanced technology, the Nazi Bell. This is stuff that this book is talking about. And if you're not ready for this type of stuff, then leave it alone. You got other YouTube channels you can watch. But this is us as a race of people on one planet. There are things that have been kept from you for a time, and we're in the age of enlightenment, the age of knowing. If you can deal with this, you're going to find power within you, no matter what race you are. But we need to come together. And for me being a melanated man and giving you this presentation, it gives me great honor because, to be honest with you, I don't have really a horse in this bet. But I'm still involved to a certain degree, and so are you. So thank you so much. The arrival of the warriors of Wotan, and as you read the book, you'll understand what Wotan is, W-O-T-A-N. The arrival of the warriors of Wotan on Earth causes an essential mutation. Listen closely, family, because this is all about memory blood. Our blood has been crossed, manipulated, spliced a million times over. So nothing is really pure in the sense of what they're talking about back in the ancient days when gnomes and mermaids and stuff still roamed. The arrival of the warriors of Wotan on Earth causes an essential mutation, a momentary detention in the involuted process, in the reoccurrence of the degraded archetype. They will use the man, R-U-N-E, the man rune, to take their image and reclothe E-R, which is fire of the black sun, with the form of a man. Man. But he will be the image of a perfect body, golden luminous, who will live only at intervals and who will not have absolute materiality, descending and ascending from the surface of the earth towards the first Asgard through the gate of Venus. They will instruct the earth dwellers, helping the semi-animals and people of color, the Negro, yellows, and red races. They are talking about this Hyperborean Aryan white race that would come along and help with the yellow race and the black race, the Negroes, as it says here, to make this world better. But what they are saying is there is this Jehovah and white traders that created this other race for demonic dark forces. And obviously, you know the names of the group that they are talking about. And ironically, this group runs everything in this world today. The arrival of the warriors of Wotan on Earth causes an essential mutation and a momentary detention in the involuntary process in the reoccurrence of the degraded archetype. They will use the man rune, R-U-N-E, to take their image and reclothe ER, fire of the black sun, which is the sun behind our sun, with the form of a man. This is a good thing that's going to be done, is what they're saying. But he will be the image of a perfect body, golden, luminous, who will live only at intervals and who would not have absolute materiality, won't even be worried about his physical world, descending and ascending from the surface of the earth toward the first Asgard, Asgard, through the gate of Venus. Speaking of Venus, if you guys ever heard of the character named Thor Valiant, Google or YouTube Thor Valiant, the man that came from Venus and visited the White House for a few months. Look that up. That's a true thing. Thor, Thor Valiant. It's Valiant. He was a being from Venus, from the planet Venus, that came in the White House and was welcomed with open arms. He was like, you guys need to drop the nuclear weapons. They were like, forget you. He left, went back to Venus. True story, look it up. They will instruct the earth dwellers. That's us. They will instruct the earth dwellers, helping the semi-animals and people of color, the Negroes, yellow and red races. The Hyperborean warriors were whites. The Hyperborean warriors were whites, almost blue bloods, it says. Their golden hair floating in the wind of that golden age. But catastrophe came when the divine took hold of the daughters of men. This is the same thing they said in the Bible, the same thing they said in ancient texts. But catastrophe came when the divine took hold of the daughters of men, who they were themselves helping to perfect. My question to you guys, because this is why this is homework. Did these so-called white guys come down and have sex with blacks and yellow people and red races? And then you had these offshoots that were, here we go. The Hyperborean warriors were whites, almost blue bloods. Their golden hair floating in the wind of that golden age. But catastrophe came when the divine took hold of the daughters of men, who they were themselves helping to perfect. They mixed with them and sired sons of flesh and death. Flesh and death. They put both of those words together. Think about that, because you are spirit alone. They have involved, with the help of flesh, it's actually a fusion illumination, but let's not. They have involved into mortals. They mixed with them and sired sons of flesh and death. They had involted, involuted, into mortals, like a dark river descending from the YR rune. The Norn scold over the divine warriors. The hour of destiny, karma, and fatality was fulfilled. They were left imprisoned on earth in flesh in mortal earthly form. Even the Bible, even the Enuma, even these ancient texts tell you that there was a fall from these guys, or even the Bible says there was a fall from the angels. Enoch says the same thing. These angels or these guys mess around with these mortal daughters. But we're learning right now in real time that this was a racial jungle fever thing that happened that threw everything off. As you further read that, it tainted the memory blood. So what was pure was no longer pure, because now you have races mingling for the first time. Oh, this goes deep. And then it goes on to say, if they were left imprisoned on earth in flesh and mortal earthly form, and nostalgia for the lost world accompanied each one of their actions, they are the semi-divine heroes of legendary age, aka you, aka us. But let's keep on going. How did this defeat happen? How did it happen? This mythic, and I quote, racial sin. I didn't say this. YouTube, I didn't say this. It's right. I hope you guys can see that part. If not, they see it. It's somewhere around. It's there. It's there. If I gotta zoom in or zoom out, it's there. And you'll see it when you download the PDF. It says, how did this defeat happen? This mythic racial sin, quote, end quote, was it the work of the enemy demiurge? Or rather, did the divine Siddhas, Siddhas, freely enter onto the dangerous plane of entropy and aspiration, so as to leap from here even more immortalized, resurrected with a face, with absolute personality, something not achieved even by the divine, or else lose divinity. The hero now played with his own immortal life in a holy war. Secretly, since their liberation, their resurrection will also transfigure the earth, thereby inflicting the most effective defeat on the demiurge. But the hero has a set period into which to sound his note in the greatest purity. The process directed and guarded by the chiefs or guides of Asgard, Agartha, by the same Wotan Lucifer in the non-existence of the green thunderbolt beyond the gold sun, where the light of the black sun reaches across in a swirling of the leftward Swarovski, that of return of that esoteric Hitlerism. I told y'all this was deep. I told y'all this was deep. Let me see if I can kind of end this off before I do want to play that Hitler video. Let's see what it is. The combat or camp between the warriors of Wotan and the Lord of Darkness has acquired cosmic proportions with the appearance on Earth of the avatar Adolf Hitler. Jehovah moved all his reserves and made use of a completely unexpected weapon, the treason of the divine ones, something the demiurge kept in secret, and that even now has never been made visible. The power of the Fuhrer, or the tyrant, has been such that the demiurge saw the necessity to use that decisive weapon. He had to make it known. Through immersed distances of time, when the first time the exiles entered here, the mystery was fulfilled of the passions of an army of divine warriors to the ranks of the demiurged, tempted by his will to power and the promise of illusionary participation in the great game of shadows, seduced by the shadowy grandeur of his drama of eternal return, an illusionary eternity within time of deaths and apparent regressions of the eternal return of the same, he tempted them with power and glory of the demiurge, and the secret desire to come replace him, vain illusion. And so we already have two enemy agents of the demiurge, his slaves and servants, the Jewish anti-race and the divine traitors. The Jews work here on earth commanded directly by the demiurge Jehovah. The divine ones who have become traitors have been set up at a point beyond the planet, and from there they direct the forces of the great conspiracy represented by the ecclesial, political, hermetic, exoteric, and esoteric institutions, which they control and inspire in collaboration with the Jews. Perhaps it was to this that Julius Evola referred when he wrote about a subversive world conspiracy more vast than Judaism and which reached even beyond the earth. We are not sure he understood what exactly was involved, but he intuited it, and without wanting it, was used by it when he took the part of nobility of class and criticized the Hitlerian Weltan Chongs, or whatever that word is. Yeah, this, like I said, this goes pretty heavy. I'm gonna read this one part, and then I'm gonna, since we're almost an hour, I'm gonna stop here, and I'm gonna go to Hitler's speech in English. It says, in the first part of this book, we said we are going to refer to that terrifying topic in relation to the incredible treason of which the Fuhrer, Fuhrer, was the victim. It was directed and inspired by the Junta, Junta, of divine traitors, by white defectors, by traitor angels. I do not know what else to call them. In agreement with and in combination with the Jews, in the service of the demon Jehovah, led from outside by his terrestrial doubles, the barons, the von, the Christian, and the Masonic generals who betrayed their Fuhrer, disobeyed his orders, sent their soldiers with inadequate supplies and weapons to fight on the frozen steppes, gave secrets to the adversaries, and came to lose most just war of the Dark Age, the only war to redeem the planet breaking the circle of circles. Such was the scale of Hitler, messenger of Cedas, of Hyperborea, Talku, Bada Sava, the Fuhrer of the areas against whom the demiurge Jehovah had to send all of his terrestrial and extraterrestrial legions. And I'm going to stop there with the presentation. I'm going to read that. I'm going to read that whole thing from that one part I had a while ago, which was here, and I'm going to stop there. But this is heavy, and we haven't even gone to the Hollow Earth. We haven't gone to Hitler escaping and going within the inside the Earth, where there is proof that, just like with the flood, they talk about the flood, that all the people who did survive under the earth or within the earth, the hollow earth. This is powerful stuff. It's up to you to decide if it's the truth. This is not me telling you this is the truth. This is me telling you to go research. Go find out for yourself if this is true. Then come back and leave comments. Let me know what you think. That's all. This is what I'm doing with this presentation. So I'm going to read that again, and then I'm going to find that Hitler video. I'm probably going to play like maybe 10 minutes of that. It says the combat or camp, K-A-M-P-H, between the warriors of Wotan, W-O-T-A-N, and the Lord of the Darkness has acquired cosmic proportions with the appearance on Earth of the avatar Adolf Hitler. Jehovah, the same Jehovah people worship in church, Christian church, Jehovah moved all his reserves and made use of a completely unexpected weapon. The treason of the divine ones, something the demiurge kept in secret and that even now has never been made visible. The power of the Fuhrer, F-U-H-R-E-R, has been such that the demiurge saw the necessity to use that decisive weapon. He had to make it known, the author says. Through immense distance of time, when for the first time the exiles entered here, the mystery was fulfilled of the passions. Think about what he said. The exiles entered here. This got me thinking about Moses. The mystery was fulfilled of the passions of an army of divine warriors to the ranks of the demiurge. This makes me think about Abraham. Jehovah's promise to Abraham. Bring your people to me. Through immense distances of times, when for the first time the exiles entered here, the mystery was fulfilled of the passions of an army of divine warriors to the ranks of the demiurged, tempted by his will to power and the promise of an illusionary participation in the great game of shadows, seduced by the shadowy grandeur of this drama of eternal return and illusory eternity within time of deaths and apparent regressions of the eternal return of the same, he tempted them with the power and glory of the demiurge and a secret desire to come replace him. Vain illusion, the author says. And as I'm reading that, it has me thinking once again about Jehovah's promise to Abraham, or God's promise to Moses. It's all the same. So we already have two enemies, the author says. We already have two enemies, the author says. Agents of the demiurge, his slaves and servants, the Jewish anti-race, and the divine traitors who were white people. The Jews work here on earth, commanded directly by the demiurge Jehovah. I repeat, the Jews, the author says, work here on earth, commanded directly by the demiurge Jehovah. The divine ones who have become traitors have been set up at a point beyond the planet, and from there they direct the forces of the great conspiracy, represented by the ecclesiastical, political, hermetic, exoteric, and esoteric institutions which they control and inspire in collaboration with the Jews. Perhaps it was to this that Julius Evola referred when he wrote about the conspiracy, more vast than Judaism and which reached even beyond the earth. And I think I'm going to end here once again. In the first part of this book, we said we are here going to refer to that terrifying topic in relation to the incredible treason of which the Führer was the victim. Said Adolf Hitler was the victim. It was directed and inspired by the JUNTA of divine traitors, by white defectors, It didn't say black. It didn't say yellow race. It said by the white defectors, white traitors. So there were some traitors in the Aryan race. I do not know what else to call them, the author says. In agreement with and in combination with the Jews in the service of the demon Jehovah, which, if you're a Christian watching this, and if you're not hip to my channel, the Davis Corbin Mystery School, you ready to fight somebody right now. How dare you put demon and Jehovah in the same sentence? If you're an Orthodox Christian, you ready to bang on this. How dare you put demon and Jehovah in the same sentence? Led from outside by terrestrial doubles, the barons, the Vons, quote unquote, the Christian and Masonic generals who betrayed Adolf Hitler, it says, disobeyed his orders, it says, sent their soldiers with inadequate supplies and weapons to fight on the frozen steppes, gave secrets to the adversaries, and if we stopped there, we knew after the so-called defeat of Hitler, our government, the US of A, took a multitude of Hitler's scientists and they start working for us. Big facts. Gave secrets to the adversaries and came to lose the most just war of the Dark Age. The only war to redeem the planet, breaking the circle of circles. Such was the scale of Hitler messenger of the Sadeas of Hyperborea. The Aryan, against whom the demiurge Jehovah had to send all his terrestrial and extraterrestrial legions. Family, I hope you enjoyed that presentation. I hope you guys gain a lot. Like I said, that presentation is your homework. The homework was the presentation. I want you to download, and hopefully by now you have already downloaded The Last Avatar. Adolf Hitler, The Last Avatar. So I'm going to play a quick. This is 20 seconds. Let's try. This is. Let's see. All right. Here we go.
My work, you think is right. Whether you believe that I have been diligent, that I have worked hard, that I have consistently advocated for you in these past years, and that I have conducted myself with decency, I have devoted my time in the service of my people's welfare. Please cast your vote now. If yes, then stand up for me just as I courageously stood up for you.
So with AI,
viewer discretion advised.
So with
Please
AI
be advised
technology,
that
so with AI technology, AI is doing a lot of crazy stuff, good or bad, however you want to look at it. With AI technology, we are now able to translate Hitler's
this video
speeches.
includes translations of historical
When you read the comment sections, a lot of people are like, yo, wow, this is why they never played Hitler's
speeches or works,
in school.
recreated using
Have you ever
advanced
heard Hitler's
AI
speeches in
tools
school
to
in English?
replicate the original
In English.
voices and styles.
In English.
These reproductions
I
may
think so.
contain controversial, sensitive, or outdated viewpoints and language.
Right.
The content is presented in its historical context
Course.
and does not reflect the views or values of this channel.
Yeah.
Viewer discretion
part.
is advised,
That part,
particularly for younger
All that
audiences.
part.
Du, meine Arbeit für richtig hältst.
They're playing
Ob
original.
du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin.
He said,
In connection with the Jewish question, I have this to say.
Listen.
It is a shameful spectacle to see how the whole democratic world is oozing sympathy for the poor, tormented Jewish people, but remains hard-hearted and obdurate when it comes to helping them, which is surely, in view of its attitude, an obvious duty. The arguments that are brought up as an excuse for not helping them actually speak for us Germans and Italians. For this is what they say. 1, we, that is the democracies, are not in a position to take in the Jews. Yet in these empires there are not 10 people to the square kilometer, while Germany, with her 135 inhabitants to the square kilometer, is supposed to have room for them. 2, they assure us we cannot take them unless Germany is prepared to allow them a certain amount of capital to bring with them as immigrants. For hundreds of years, Germany was good enough to receive these elements, although they possessed nothing a very large extent gained at the cost of the less astute German nation by the most reprehensible manipulations. Today, we are merely paying this people what it deserves. When the German nation was, thanks to the inflation instigated and carried through by Jews, deprived of the entire savings which it had accumulated in years of honest work, when the rest of the world took away the German nation's foreign investments, when we were divested of the whole of our colonial possessions, these philanthropic considerations evidently carried little noticeable weight with democratic statesmen. Today I can only assure these gentlemen that thanks to the brutal education with which the democracies favored us for 15 years, we are completely hardened to all attacks of sentiment. After more than 800,000 children of the nation had died of hunger and undernourishment at the close of the war, we witnessed almost 1 million head of milking cows being driven away from us in accordance with the cruel paragraphs of a dictate which the humane democratic apostles of the world forced upon us as a peace treaty. We witnessed over 1 million German prisoners of war being retained in confinement for no reason at all for a whole year after the war was ended. We witnessed over 1.5 million Germans being torn away from all that they possessed in the territories lying on our frontiers and being whipped out with practically only what they wore on their backs. We had to endure having millions of our fellow countrymen torn from us without their consent and without their being afforded the slightest possibility of existence. I could supplement these examples with dozens of the most cruel kind. For this reason, we ask to be spared all sentimental talk. The German nation does not wish its interests to be determined and controlled by any foreign nation, France to the French, England to the English, America to the Americans, and Germany to the Germans. We are resolved to prevent the settlement in our country of a strange people which was capable of snatching for itself all the leading positions in the land, and to oust it, for it is our will to educate our own nation for these leading positions. We have hundreds of thousands of very intelligent children of peasants and of the working classes. We shall have them educated. In fact, we have already begun, and we wish that one day they, and not the representatives of an alien race, may hold the leading positions in the state together with our educated classes. Above all, German culture, as its name alone shows, is German and not Jewish, and therefore its management and care will be entrusted to members of our own nation. If the rest of the world cries out with a hypocritical mien against this barbaric expulsion from Germany of such an irreplaceable and culturally eminently valuable element, we can only be astonished at the conclusions they draw from this situation. But how thankful they must be that we are releasing these precious apostles of culture and placing them at the disposal of the rest of the world. In accordance with their own declarations, they cannot find a single reason to excuse themselves for refusing to receive this most valuable race in their own countries, nor can I see a reason why the members of this race should be imposed upon the German nation, while in the states, which are so enthusiastic about these splendid people, their settlement should suddenly be refused with every imaginable excuse. I think that the sooner this problem is solved, the better, for Europe cannot settle down until the Jewish question is cleared up. It may very well be possible that sooner or later an agreement on this problem may be reached in Europe, even between those nations which otherwise do not so easily come together. The world has sufficient space for settlements, but we must once and for all get rid of the opinion that the Jewish race was only created by God for the purpose of being in a certain percentage a parasite living on the body and the productive work of other nations. The Jewish race will have to adapt itself to sound constructive activity as other nations do, or sooner or later it will succumb to a crisis of an inconceivable magnitude. One thing I should like to say on this day, which may be memorable for others as well as for us Germans, in the course of my life, I have very often been a prophet and have usually been ridiculed for it. During the time of my struggle for power, it was in the first instance the Jewish race which only received my prophecies with laughter when I said that I would one day take over the leadership of the state, and with it that of the whole nation, and that I would then, among many other things, settle the Jewish problem. Their laughter was uproarious, but I think that for some time now they have been laughing on the other side of their face. Today I will once more be a prophet. If the international Jewish financiers in and outside Europe should succeed in plunging the nations once more into a world war, then the result will not be the Bolshevization of the earth and thus the victory of Jewry, but the annihilation Jewish race in Europe. The nations are no longer willing to die on the battlefield so that this unstable international race may profiteer from a war or satisfy its Old Testament vengeance. The Jewish watchword, workers of the world unite, will be conquered by a higher realization, namely, workers of all classes and of all nations, recognize your common enemy.
If you have suggestions for other historical speeches or works you'd like to see recreated, please
Listen, before in this video, like I told you before, if you look at this video with any type of hatred, racism, then obviously your ego is screwed up. This was a history lesson. For a lot of us, that was the first time hearing Hitler in English. Every time we hear Hitler in school or in TV, I know that sounds a little bit Chinese. That was my best German. But now we have heard this man speak. And his speech is similar to every other, what they call a dictator or king or whatever, who has been against our country or the race that he was talking about. So I want to thank y'all so much for tuning into the Darius Corbin Mystery School, the home of the esoteric knowledge. Let me know what you think. Leave a like button, hit the subscribe button. Till next time, peace, love, and prosperity. Peace.